welcome to the Metalheads podcast. My name is George.
This is Jay.
This is Will.
This is John.
This is Matt.
And we are joined today by Matt Moss of Slugdge. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm fine, yeah.
We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Well, let's just get started. First of all, because we're not going to assume everybody knows a lot about you, could you just kind of tell us a little bit about, like how long the band has been around? We certainly know, but also where you are. We know you're in England. I think your accent has already given that away, but maybe just let's call it the Wikipedia introduction to Slugdge for the people who are listening.
Right. So we started the band in 2012 as a sort of a joke thing that kind of just ran on for a long time. There was two people in it. There was me and I doing vocals. Kev Pearson did guitars, all stuff like that. We did sort of bass duties between us. I programmed the drums, and it was all self-produced at home. We put out a sort of first album, which was just a bit of a mess around. That got quite popular, I suppose.
Born of Slime.
Bit. Yeah. And then we started getting a bit more serious, sort of putting more effort into the music. We did Gastronomicon in 2014, then another one in the year after, Dim and Slimer and Kingdoms 2015. Then we got signed to Willow Tip Records at the end of 2015, I think. And then in 2018, we've just released Esoteric Malacology, which is Esoteric Malacology, which is...
Wow, I like that. Okay, let's go back and forth on these pronunciations. That's good. I like when people mispronounce, at least by their own count, their own record.
Yeah, I've always said it that way, and then recently I've been hearing everyone saying it the other way, so I've just decided to adapt to their way of saying it.
And just now, that happened live.
Yeah.
You guys have put out 4 albums in like the last 5-6 years, and every one of them has been, in my opinion, a winner. How is it that you're so prolific and you're not sacrificing the quality?
We just, I suppose we've not got much else going on in our lives. We have a lot of time to do it. We'd kind of just gotten sick of, because we've always been in other bands. Kev tends to be would be in the sort of more technical kinds of bands, like tech death or gent or prog or whatever you want to call it. I was always in grindcore bands and cross punk bands and things like that. And we just thought I was sick of doing this, so we just started doing. We sort of reverted back to a project that we'd done in the past, which was like a sort of, I'd say it was grindcore, but it wasn't really grindcore. But we'd been messing around with. And we just had a lot of fun doing it. And one of the reasons was because we were just talking about absolutely ridiculous things, just letting it all out. Do you know what I mean? Because we'd given up on the idea of being in bands properly, getting a record deal, anything like that. So I think the secret was just that we had a lot of fun doing it. So we were always eager to do more and more and more, and we still are. The second we sort of put this album out, we were just like, right, what about the next one? What about the next one?
You're not bogged down by, well, at least until this album, you weren't bogged down by labels slowing you down or tours taking away from music creation.
Yeah, I think if we were touring, we might not have been as prolific. But it's the label, the discussion we'd had with the label when they sent us the contract. Well, we'd sort of designed the contract in a way by saying, right, this, you can't insist on this. We were going to do it like this. We're not going to have any kind of interference, which he wouldn't have done anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, they won't be sending it back saying change it, because because when I first sent him this one, he was just like, yeah, it's good. It's a bit weird. It's a bit different, but I just said, just if you trust us, we'll trust you to do your end of it, and that's what it's been, and it's been a good relationship actually. I'd heard lots of horror stories about record labels to the point where I was like, I'm never doing that.
Yeah, I read an interview with you. I want to say it was when Dim and Slime Ridden Kingdoms came out, where you said that you didn't really like the idea of being with a label because they imposed deadlines and things like that. So,
Yeah.
how did Willowtip, change your mind about that?
He just said there is absolutely no deadline, and you can take as long as you want. We'll send you some, funds to get things started. Because we basically, I mean, we are still using really basic equipment. Like most of the stuff we use. Hang on, one sec. Ted, come out of there. Sorry, my dog's wandering in the kitchen.
Of course.
Yeah, most of the stuff we use is free online. Apart from, sort of Pod Farm and all the rest of it. So he did send some money for extra things, but he said take as long as you want, and it was just very relaxed. And that was the big reason why we signed was because a lot of people were asking for vinyls and CDs.
Yeah.
And I thought we can't deal with this. We can't deal with this volume of because we're not well off or anything, and we're not very well organized either.
Well, just one thing about that, to me, there was a noticeable positive jump in the production between Dim and Slime Ridden Kingdoms and Esoteric Malacology. So
yeah.
I'm assuming that it has something to do with said funds. And also, that's just a compliment. It sounds great.
Partly it was, but actually, I think it was more because I do the production, so it was more me. One of the things is we'd always insisted on using the HM2 pedal, and you know what that sound is. It's like the buzzsaw kind of Swedish death metal kind of thing. A lot of grindcore bands use it, and it wasn't working with because Kev's pretty good guitarist, and he wanted to really sort of expand his technicality on it. When we were playing the riffs from the new one, it just wasn't working with that. So I had to change the mix. So that was very difficult because I'm not a very good producer by technical standards. So I had to figure it all out again. And that's one of the reasons why this one took quite a lot longer than the other three. But it's still, it's still the basic stuff that we're using. I mean, the things I spent it on were ridiculous things, like a program that creates orchestras and stuff, and then didn't really use that because that's not the style. It's not the style we do. It was just me messing about with stuff, really.
So you just bought a bunch of toys.
Basically.
Do you still record in the bedroom?
We never recorded in the bedroom.
Well, I mean, as opposed to like a studio, basement, or wherever it is.
Yeah, I'm just being pedantic. It's the front room we record in. But
right.
Yeah, we're still in exactly the same situation that we always were, and that helps as well because, you're not changing too many things, so it's not as daunting. Because this whole thing has been quite daunting for us as well, because it's a lot of stuff all at once. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And attention. I think attention too. I mean, people are talking about you, and people are talking about this record. I've seen super positive reviews of it. And to just take one step back, I assume Willowtip reached out to you initially?
Yeah, they did. The messages on Twitter, and I didn't use Twitter then. I do now. I sort of have. You have to. But
yeah.
I'd ignored Twitter, and I'd kind of just been deleting emails unless they were directly from Bandcamp, from fans or whatever. So I didn't really pay much attention to it. And then after I'd come back off holiday in Italy, they'd message me, and I just checked it at random, and I had all these notifications from them saying check your email. So I checked my email. There's nothing in there, obviously. And I just said, just email me back, whatever it is, email me back. I knew what it was because I knew the record label, and I know what kind of artist the sign, so I was like, I know what this is, so I need to sort of, so I read through it, but it was months and months before we decided to do it. It was a kind of, we were umming and ahhing about whether or not we should, but in the end, if people want all that stuff, then that's how they're going to get all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm actually really happy about it. It's gone a lot smoother than I thought it would do. And it's partly because of how closely knit they are as a label. You know, I'm in direct communication with Jason and Mitchell and all the other people that are sort of working for them. And it's been good.
And that's great. It's cool to hear you're having a good experience. And I really like the focus on. I have the vinyls, and I like the nice colors they've chosen for the vinyls. They really work for you guys. So,
Yeah.
how have you gone about getting cover art, in particular on the new one? Did they help with that, or did you have somebody in mind?
No, I've a good mate who was in a grindcore band in England called Atom. No, it's pronounced Atomisk. It's not written like that though. And he's kind of does like sci-fi art and stuff. And I just asked him. So I just kind of because the previous three were a guy called Zen O'Connor, and he's like he's an artist who like studied in Florence and stuff, and he does proper art, and he'd never really done anything like that before. So we're just like, he's the only artist we know, so we'll just ask him. So he did that, but he did a pretty decent job. But he was I don't know, he wasn't sort of around for this one because he's not really a big social media presence, and I've been looking at this guy Luke Oram, his name is, the guy at the grindcore band. Been looking at his art, and it's fantastic. So I was just like, this guy understands what the kind of thing we would like. So I just asked him to do it.
And it turned out great, by the way. We're gonna have to talk about the concept and the concepts, at which I say we have to, probably because it's probably one of the first things people ask you about, but or that you get asked about a lot, I'm guessing. But let's talk about it. How was it that you guys sort of settled on this, let's say, imaginary kingdom and or real kingdom?
Theme.
Or the theme. That's a better way of putting it. How did that come about?
It was really our sense of humor that's kind of for the sort of mundane and trivial aspects of life, I suppose. I'd always written, like in the previous band that we'd done, we would write about stupid things like really minor celebrities in Britain, and so it was like almost like an apotheosis of their kind of the sort of mundane, banal kind of thing blown up. So we wanted to do something like that, I think, but it's morphed into sort of more than just that. I mean, when we first started, I think our first song that we ever wrote was "I Hate Salt," and it was basically just about from the perspective of a slug. But because of the things that I'm into, and because of the things that we're into, and because of the experiences we've had in life with sort of crazy things that have happened, it quickly became almost like a religious cult type thing. And there's a lot of stuff in there that's quite like environmental type stuff. Plus, there's just a love of I have a love of animals, Although I did used to sort of, I was mainly into reptiles and stuff. I don't know how I ended up with mollusks, but yeah. But it started as a joke. We were doing like puns about sludge metal bands, and like Abominable Iron Sloth and Iron Monkey, and there's always some kind of metallic animal hybrid thing going on in most of the things, and we were just surprised that no one had done Slugdge. So
You were surprised. I like that.
yeah, sorry. It's not sludge. It's not sludge metal though. Like obviously,
No.
No.
There's some elements of it on the first one, but it dies out very quickly, and we sort of revert back to doing our death metal thing.
So were you guys like, haha, this was funny, it's a joke, and then it was like, oh shit, people like the joke, we got to do more, and you're kind of like stuck with doing it now, or does it? Do you feel limited by it in any way, or do you think you can just keep doing that?
I thought there was a chance of it being like that at first, but I think I was underestimating just how much stuff I can draw out of it. yeah, it's just like I said, there's a lot of it that's actually become quite personal, and it's this thing about worshipping something that's doesn't exist, and everyone knows it doesn't exist, but it's kind of you persist in doing it anyway, which is kind of what we do in this world anyway. So it's kind of there's a critique there, I suppose. But
Well, no, if you're going to do social commentary, which isn't necessarily what you just described, but that there's nothing more metal than what you just described. I mean, that's the broad theme of a lot of metal bands. We got to talk about the song titles too, because I just wonder, is it like a contest within the band to just like jot down titles as you think of them, because we're a big fan of the titles.
Yeah, a lot of the titles, not a lot, but a handful of them anyway. They seem like tongue-in-cheek nods to other bands like Salters of Madness and the Toxic Salts and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it is that. Some of them are a bit more difficult to get than others. Like we've got one called Suffering Quahog, and I was looking at something. I think it was on Reddit, and someone was speculating as to what that means. Only one person got it, which is it's named after Suffering Quota by Asuk, the grindcore band, which is about sort of animal rights, which is also what that Suffering Quahog is also about. That it's about a clam called Ming that was about 500 or 600 years old or something, and scientists dragged it up and opened it up and killed it in the process of trying to figure out how old it was. So that was kind of like humans interfering with nature again, but it's that. I mean, Gastronomicon in particular is that most of it is that it's mostly about civilization's sort of unsustainability.
Are you keep a notebook though? Is there like a notebook where you're like, oh, that's a great song title, you jot it down, or the song titles come after you write the songs?
They like working titles that would just leave.
Yeah.
I've got one can use for the next album. Shell Awaits.
Shallow Awaits. We've already thought of that, but okay. I don't know whether you've noticed. There's quite a few that are like Slayer.
Yeah. Spore Ensemble.
So, yeah.
Pod Hates Us All.
Yeah, Pod Hates Us All. Yeah.
So here's an interesting thing for me. I mean, you guys are from the same general area as Carcass, and they're really animal rights focused too, and. There's not a question in there somewhere. That's just interesting to me that's the two of the better metal bands I can think of coming out of your area are really environmentally minded.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I think it's just we come from sort of industrial slums, if you like,
Sure.
where there's a lot of greenery around, but it's all kind of controlled in terms of farmland and what have you. But it's just we weren't really following suit with them. It's just kind of although it's I don't know. It's just what it is. I think we just happen to be talking about the same sorts of things. It's
a happy-ish, yeah. Well, it's a happy coincidence. And speaking of Carcass, and that just sort of brings us to the nature of other bands, and I'm wondering what are some of the big influences that you guys feel, or who do you like? I guess probably a better way to put it.
Well, probably the biggest influence on the band that I can think of is Acker Cocker, who was a British band. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I love him.
Of course.
A lot of what they do is kind of almost tongue-in-cheek. I think I can't even tell, and that's kind of what we were going for. Like we're a bit more obvious. But when you read the lyrics and stuff, it's not as obvious that we're kind of, there's like I said, there's stuff in there that's hidden. But also just the idea of that they're writing love songs to Satan. It was just kind of really, really amusing to me. And I thought, right, I'm going to sort of do that in an equally as grandiloquent kind of fashion, with the language.
It works though. Just from an outside perspective, it does work because there is a point where you guys have stuck so steadily to the script here that I wondered like, what are these guys like? What are they about? And so you've got that. You've managed to create that little layer, and obviously there's some humor there, and that's very clear. But no, that work. It seems to be working.
Yeah. I just find that quite funny that we would that we would do that. I mean, why would you waste your time doing that? But as well, it's the world is kind of, it's gotten a lot more serious, but also kind of a lot more absurd in the past few years, and it's kind of,
to be sure.
it's. I remember sort of we were doing Gastronomicon, and I'd gotten really ill, and it was like, I was in hospital and all the rest of it, and I was just kind of, the world seemed to be going to shit. So it's kind of like, it fit in perfectly with the sort of the era that we're living in, I think, for us, I mean, I was convinced a few times that I'd died, or like that I wasn't in the real world anymore. And it's kind of, it just fed into what we were doing as a band, so.
I can relate to that, man. And I don't want to speak for everybody, but yeah, I mean the public figures we have that we're looking at now, and Brexit on your side, and all of these things. I often think, wait, what? Do I need to go back to sleep and wake up again? Like, what happened here?
Yeah,
it's gotten strange.
Last few days we've had that, haven't we? I mean, we're back at war again, and it's just kind of like, I've been watching Alex Jones on this thing going absolutely ballistic about, because I don't watch him as for information. I watch him for comedy. But,
yeah, he's crazy.
That kind of, he's just been going absolutely mad, and it's just a bizarre time to be alive. So why not?
Post-truth era, I guess. I mean, or post pretend we don't know the truth era. I don't know, but
yeah. But I mean, I'm not a religious person, and I think we've been living in a sort of false reality for a very long time, anyway. From that perspective. So.
I read a great quote during the last American election, which may indeed be the last American election, but it was that it's as if America was a situation comedy, and the writers are just going crazy now. They're just like, fuck it, let's jump the shark.
Yeah, well, we play a lot of video games, and there's one that we play in particular called Civilization, and we felt like it was that the game had been won, the game was over, and it was just in the sort of the turns afterwards when you just stockpile nuclear weapons to just wipe each other out.
Just fucking around.
One more turn, yeah.
What else do you play? We're game players. Like, what are you largely on PC? Okay, the cooler ones.
We're PC gamers, but occasionally sort of diverge into other things. But play a lot of strategy games. Like I play a lot of like Crusader Kings and EU4 and stuff, and but we play things like Dark Souls, Fallout, stuff like that.
I love Fallout.
Dark Souls. Well, that you got to be dedicated to get to Dark Souls, and I can get some focus going, but that's a hard game.
Yeah, it's not. It's all right when you get used to it. I mean, I remember the first time Kev made me play it, I was just like effing and blinding at him, saying, I can't believe you've made me play this. It's absolutely shit. Because I was just getting my ass handed to me like every time I would go in it. But he just kept saying, "Oh, you just need to get good." So I was getting well mad with it, and ended up just persevering, and I love it now. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it pays off if you are willing to invest in it. I'm told. I never got to the investment stage. I feel like I might be kind of dominating the conversation here. Is there some questions that you have, Matt? I'm talking about our Matt or George or anybody.
I got a couple.
Oh, let's hear it.
So I'm curious with, the whole Mollusca, the infernal cosmic slug deity thing. Do you actually, with all your albums and all your songs, are you building almost this like Game of Thrones, Tolkien, Star Wars universe where everything fits in together? Or is it some stuff is like, this is just an individual song and doesn't really fit into any like grand novel sort of idea world that you've built?
Pantheon.
Yeah.
It's not quite. I would not say it's like on that level of sort of like where there's a there's no continuous narrative. I mean, it depends. I mean, Dim Simon and Kingdoms had somewhat of a narrative, and it was about death, but it's kind of based on experiences that I had from trying to write the previous album, and also just the sort of where my head was, but it was using the imagery of something else to distance myself from, like escapism, but for me, writing lyrics, particularly with sort of stuff off Esoteric Malacology is even more like that. I'd had it was really stressing me out, the album. So there's a lot more kind of overtly it's not about. You can tell that some of them are not about what I'm talking about. But
there's some allegory going on there.
Yeah, but this started as a way of kind of, as well as a way of distancing myself from. Like I mention this a lot, but and there's a reason I mention it. But I've had a lot of problems with mental illness, so and they were quite severe ones as well, which kind of hindered me for like years and years and years. And it's kind of some of that stuff and the things that led up to that being a thing are buried in there because I don't want to talk about them, but I can't help but talk about them. Do you know what I mean?
Is it cathartic?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's catharsis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the main thing. That's why we were continuing to do music. It was a way of just dealing with the world, and even though it's ridiculous, I mean, that's just another aspect of who we are. I mean, we're ridiculous people. We're not very serious people because we've seen how serious, in a way, things can get. We both had loads and loads of problems throughout the years with sort of just getting along, just living, like able to like pay rent or, just stay alive in certain circumstances where it's just been so. But at the end of the day, we just like having a laugh as well. So it's a combination of those two things.
And I just love that. I love that, man. I love that there's that on the one hand is a really rather deep psychological catharsis and allegory. On the other hand, we just like to tell a good joke, which is a good summary of life in general, I should say.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned how, and this might have been before we started, but that you guys have been living together for about 3 years, and of course that makes recording easier when you're both there all the time. But are there times where you guys drive each other crazy as well, and you're like, hey, I want to work on music, and he's like, fuck you, I want to, go play video games or just, get away from you for a while?
That happens a lot. But like, I mean, we've known each other now. Well, he moved down here from Scotland with his parents when he was 15. And he wanted to join a band because he was a drummer in a band. So he joined our band. And then we had loads of problems and he ended up leaving our band. And then we just spoke over the internet for a long time. I mean, there was a period where we didn't speak as much. In that interim period, he'd had a kid and all this other stuff. And when we met up again, it was just like, because when he used to come down, we just, rather than play our stuff for our actual band, we'd just sit in the practice room playing through Morbid Angel, Nile, stuff like that, songs. Him on drums and me on guitar, both sort of to a sort of amateur-ish degree. But as the years rolled on, we've just gotten to be like almost like siblings. So yeah, of course we argue from time to time about plenty of stuff, mainly politics or something like that. But there are times. But at the end of the day, when we get down to do music, it's like the reason we met in the first place. So it's almost completely separate from our living situation, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me ask you this: are you like aware? You must be, but are you aware of how visible you guys are becoming? I mean, there's really a lot of people talking about you in general, but also this new record has gotten super favorable responses. Did you read any of the reviews or anything? Or?
Yeah, the Angry Metal guy gave you guys like 4.5 or something pretty high. I remember
out of 5.
He called it, and I agree, potential metal album of the year material. So are you hearing this talk, reading things, or do you just kind of keep your head down?
I read everything. I'm interested because I want to know how people are receiving it. Because the thing is, we live in a swamp in the middle of nowhere, Like literally, we live in a tiny, sleepy village that I've got like some serious agoraphobia. Kev's not much better. We don't go out that much. So basically, social media and the internet is pretty much the only way the only access we've got to these things. It was weird and unreal up until the point where we went out to the Cannibal Corpse Black Dahlia murder gig, and he comes out and he's like, I think your band's fucking amazing and all this kind of stuff. And it suddenly dawned on me then that like, oh, it's all kind of, it really is all out there. Do you know what I mean?
It's real.
Yeah.
Wait, who said you guys were amazing? Sorry.
Sorry, Alan, the drummer at Black Dahlia Murder. He recently
Okay.
joined. Well, we'd kind of said online because we've been talking for years.
Isn't he your drummer now?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'd been talking about that for years, and I was sort of saying, I said no at first because I was like, this will just overcomplicate things. We just want to stick to doing it in our room and just not bother anyone, Yeah. But as time went on, it became clear that him and Mo, the other guy that's joined on bass, are massive fans, and they understand what we're doing, and they just want to put their thing into it where I might be lacking with my drum machine, or we've been sort of sidelining bass this whole time. So yeah, we just kind of did that, but yeah, it didn't feel real until then. But I've been reading things, but it's just words, on the screen. So it feels a bit odd.
Can I? But does it seem to you that there have been a lot more words on the screen lately? I mean, I think your visibility is really rising. So,
I mean, case in point is that we all like your band, and we invited you on. Like we requested you guys. So I mean, like, this is not words on the screen. This is real.
Yeah.
No.
We really like you guys, and I think, at least in my opinion, the new album will probably be on at least 2 year-end lists for our little group.
I'd say 3
I'll
or
go
4.
on the record I'll go on the record right now and tell you right now, and I keep a running list. It's my number 1 record of the year. Just to put that out there.
Nice. Cheers.
In my top 10 too.
Yeah.
It's very odd, but it's becoming more and more apparent. But like, if we were touring, then and we were seeing this every day in day out, then it might have been more normalized for us. But we don't, for lots of reasons. But we may overcome those at some point. But like I said, there are challenges there.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of which, I mean, I know you kind of have the agoraphobia, which, from what I understand, is the fear of going outside or public places and stuff.
Yeah, it's connected to because I have schizophrenia, so it's connected to that.
Okay.
And obviously now, if you probably read that because I mentioned it before, but if you sort of go into the whole what the band is about, it starts to make a bit more sense. I'm not actually don't believe in that stuff, but I'm kind of making light out of things that I have believed in the past that were pretty wacky.
Sure. We've all got those skeletons in our closet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, have you guys toured at all? Have you just hit up a festival? Is that sort of no way is going to happen, or
is that part of why you're now have a drummer and a bass player working towards that?
It could be, but I mean, that was mainly a decision to do with recording because I want real drums on it. I always have done. And since he's such a good drummer, there's absolutely no, because in the past I'd had like local drummers and stuff are an absolute nightmare. I mean, they are a special breed of people, let's be honest. But I'd had significant trouble in previous bands getting that together. But I mean, I've played live obviously years ago, but a lot has happened since then. Kev was in a touring band, but he really, really didn't like it. But the touring, he liked the band, but it's just kind of, I don't know what the future holds at the moment. But I suppose it's become more of a possibility.
What was your drum machine that you used?
It was Superior Drummer too.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Is that what you have, George?
Yeah,
Or you don't want to do
I'm a
something?
home recorder too, on a much shittier scale. But I was curious what programs you use. I use Superior Drummer and Logic and.
Yeah, I just use it's Superior Drummer 2. Just run through a really old version of Reaper, and all all the VSTs are in Reaper to begin with. So it's just that it's. I'm just a cheapskate, basically. When it comes to recording, I just use what I've got, and I've gotten very used to using that. So every time I change something about it, it's just it overcomplicates things. So I have to be quite careful.
I understand that for sure. I got to say that you can put out these albums and they sound like they do using this stuff. Not that this stuff is not good, but knowing what I get out of it compared to what you get out of it, that's saying something.
Meaning,
Wow, you're amazing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to ask, was there a different mastering process or something for the new one? I mean, like, how have you done that in the past? How have you mastered them? Do you just do that yourself?
I didn't master the last three.
They
were just the ones before Esoteric Malacology were just straight off the they weren't mastered. They were I just kind of put like maximizers on them and stuff in the tracks because I didn't know what I was doing, and made them all into one file with all the sort of bits that lead into the bits, and cut it all up and then just put it out. We put it out the day it was finished as well. Every single album was put out the day it was finished.
Is that right?
Yeah, but the Esoteric Malacology, I just put a lot more effort into it because I didn't want to disappoint the label in terms of production. That was it. I felt like I need to make this as good as I possibly can with the tools that I've got in order to sort of make it sound good for the music, but also I need to I want the label to be able to put out a sort of nice thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have a sense of responsibility there, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you've mentioned that you've got like a grind background, and Kev is more of a like prog tech guy. What music do you guys overlap on that was your common ground?
Old school death metal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why a lot of it has that feel. But the stuff like, I mean, we both love Opeth and Gojira, which should be obvious, I think, to anyone listening to it. There's a lot of that sort of stuff comes through. But if there's ever a sort of crusty punk bit, then it's probably me that's insisted on that. And again, if there's any sort of weird, clean time signature stuff going on, it's probably Kev that's put that in. But we generally just sit and write them together, and we have a sort of thing where if we put the part in that's like we expect that's what's going to happen in the song, that's probably the wrong thing to do. So we just try and be as unexpected as possible.
Speaking of, how far along are you on the next one, since you're starting to put your energy into record number 5?
Not that far in. We have a concept because it's probably a concept album, but not. We know what not to do with it, like because I know if we just do like one thing that sounds like a massive long song, that'll just get on my nerves because as I said, I like grindcore. I like things to change a lot. I like variety, which is why I think one person described it as a 10-car musical pileup, and it's not entirely inaccurate because we just kind of like try and get as much in as possible. So the songs themselves, in the end of the day, I just like writing like jams. Do you know what I mean? And then trying to weave them together into something a bit larger. But I've got the story sorted out, and all that of what's going to be going on, which is going to be kind of like part mythos, part critique on on our future, on futurism, basically. So yeah.
Do you think that having a drummer and a bass player this time around is going to change the sound at all? I mean, other than the obvious reason of it sounding different because it's an actual drummer.
Yeah, probably. But I really value what other people, if someone's like a virtuoso, if they know their instrument better than I do, as long as they also know the sound of what we're going for as well as I do, then I'm feeling quite positive about it. Yeah. So I mean, it's bound to change it a little bit, but I'm not one of these. I say I'm not a control freak. I am in a lot of ways, but it's more to do with the kind of the way things are structured. Like, because I write the lyrics, I structure a lot of it, and it's got to sort of go with them. So there's a sort of meeting in the middle type thing. So
go ahead.
I'm not going to sacrifice any of that stuff, but I'll let them do what they want to do. Basically.
So here's my question though: is how and where will you let them do it? This is obviously going to change your process a little bit, just by virtue of the fact that, like for instance, you might have to get those drums into a room with decent sound to it. I mean, are you going to get a studio involved this time, or?
Well, Alan, as a mate that does all that stuff, he's going to do that at a great distance from us, where he lives in Detroit, and he's going to send it over. It's a bit weird. I don't know, like, we're going to have a play around with it at first to see how we get it to work, but I'm quite confident it will. Because, I mean, I've seen him doing his drum covers and that before, and how he records them, and I kind of know. And also, months and months ago, I started researching kind of how he plays drums himself, because that's how I learned how to drum program. I watched drummers play because I can't play at all. And when I spoke to him, he'd basically been doing the same. He'd been listening to how we write drums, and it's that kind of thing that you need to create that synergy, between. So I'm quite confident that he's going to be able to pull that off. As for bass, it's just
plug him in.
Well, we've never really expanded much on it before in the past, so anything is good.
You don't. It's no more. It's not just filler now, or some like representative bass track. Yeah, so that'll be cool.
We'd occasionally do something flashy on bass, but it's kind of like from a guitarist's perspective. Whereas Moat is a bassist. He's always played bass. He's not just a guitarist that's just not as good as the other two, if you know what I mean.
I do, and it makes a huge difference, by the way. I play in a band too, and there was one occasion where we recorded something where I had to play on bass underneath the guitar parts, and you need a bass player. I mean, if you really want that to work correctly, because like you said, it's a guitarist's interpretation of bass, which is kind of wrong. There's something about it that doesn't quite go all the way.
Yeah.
We need it to be. So that's really cool that you're going to have that contribution.
Yeah, and it's all those things that we're lacking, in the other albums, I think. And I know where I went wrong with this, especially structuring this last album. I mean, just before I released it, I was like, oh, God, I hate this album. Well, I do that with every single thing. I think I get imposter syndrome a lot, where I think, like, I'm just not as good as all these other people. And I've had that afterwards as well. I've been listening to the new Augury one and just thinking, oh my God, these guys are absolutely amazing. Well, we're kind of,
It's good to feel that way. If you get to the point where you listen back to the new album, you go, we're fucking amazing, then that's when you're going to start to have problems, because then the ego's going to take over and the music will go shit.
Yeah, you've got to know where you were lacking. Yeah. I think you've got to be really critical of yourself in order to improve, don't you?
If you don't feel like there's room for improvement, then there's no more room to grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of influences, did you like that last Acker Cocker
album? Yes, I like anything they'll put out pretty much, because it's all wacky. But I tend to be I was a bit more influenced by the Voices, who were like the other band that's like them. Well, there's actually another one that's very like them, but I don't really count them. But I'm more into like Gautam Mendes and Coranzon era stuff.
Sure.
Rape of the Bastard Nazarene, that kind of weird stuff. But I do like their stuff because I mean we in a way in ways we've gone that way ourselves. We've started to be more prog and less, sort of brutal. But maybe that will change. I've no idea.
Well, just okay. So I can offer you the outsider's perspective again. There's more prog in it, but it's still super fucking heavy, dude. I mean, that's one of the impressive things about the new one to me is there's an argument that it's one of the heavier records of the year too, if you ask me. For all that entails, I mean, I know that's a hard thing to put into a box, but so that's interesting that's partially your take on it. I mean, it may not be brutal in simplicity, but. Yeah. No, I mean,
Oh yeah, no. I've listened to sort of when I went back to listen to it because the only bits that stood out for me, I kept thinking about them, and it was probably because it was one of the last songs he wrote with things like Crop Killer, where you've got like really just not like us bits in it, and there are softer bits in ones like Salt Thrower, but then later on, obviously, it just suddenly goes all to shit. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Evil, basically. I always insist on the evil going in there though, because it's got to. I mean, I love to do this thing where you contrast, the sort of melody and the quiet bits with the sort of the really horrible parts, and I probably always do that. So those are probably the bits that people are thinking of.
That's reassuring as a listener because one of the things that does happen to some of the bands that all of us love is they tend to tire of that somehow, I think, and move off of one.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing that's sort of related to what I was saying before. About, I don't know their minds, but one of the reasons that we're not that serious is because it's a bit of a joke about the genre in general. Is that people don't tend to take it very seriously from the outside. I mean, Sam Dunn was on about that in one of his documentaries that. People just, you get people within metal that are super serious, and I've had it, all about this kind of thing where people just won't listen to us because of what it's about, and you just got to think, well, listen to what you're listening to, and tell me that is any different. How is that any different? Satan and what have you, and you get people like what's his face from Mastodon who was like. Saying, I don't really like metal. Well, of course he's liked metal at some point, but you tend to get this thing where people go off it and sort of, I'm going to do country now, I'm going to do jazz, I'm going to do a proper type of music, which is just, I find it a bit silly. It's quite insulting sometimes.
I have a theory about it, actually, if you don't mind.
Sure, go on.
It's just that well, first off, it tends to happen to bands as they get more successful, and it's because I think they're rubbing shoulders with people whom they start to feel intimidated around. I mean, there's this silly video Metallica called A Year and a Half in the Life of Metallica, and I don't suggest you watch it because it takes a year and a half to watch, but and in it they sarcastically are always looking at the camera going, metal, dude. Like suddenly that's a problem for them. They don't want to, and it's because they sold 5 million records and they feel like the illegitimate child at the party. And that's a shame. I don't understand that. And Mastodon definitely suffers this of late. I was about to mention them.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I totally get it. Well, I don't get it. I get why they're doing that.
Yeah.
But it feels that to me, that seems so obvious that that's why they're doing that. I love this kind of music.
Yep.
And I love the sort of the theater and the drama and everything about it. And I love that it's ridiculous. And it's a sort of, it's still to me, it's spitting in the face of all that kind of that attitude that people have. So I have no desire to, like, it doesn't matter how many jazz musicians I hang around. I have no desire to go that way.
to go legit to the outside world. And wow, I have to say, this really resonates with me. And one of the things I can't stand is when I'll see somebody on Facebook, a friend of mine, who will post the similarities between classical music and metal or something. There's this constant fight to legitimize it. I
Yeah.
just want to tell people it's legit already, dude. Just shut the fuck up. You don't have to show people that we use all of these classical structures in our music and stuff.
Yeah, well, that in a way, I mean, that could lead to like what you have now, which is a lot of tech death bands just going for I don't mind that kind of focus on virtuosity, because I think it's that adversity thing that's the reason that sort of thrash appeared in the first place. And there's one side of it that's good, in that we get better and better and better because there's this constant fight. But then, I see a lot of people losing in the end to this draw to a more legitimate form of art. But it is art, and it is. I've never really understood that. And if people think like, I've got a lot of mates who are sort of used to be in metal bands now who've like moved on, and they see us doing this, and it's just kind of like, oh, they're kind of doing that thing that we used to do, and it's just it just doesn't feel that way to me. I feel like I've always, I mean, since I was about 7 years old, I got into Metallica when I was 7, and I'm just gonna stick at it, doing what we do.
This is deeply interesting to me to hear this, because I agree. I honestly think there's a level of personal development where you get past that barrier you're talking about, honestly, where suddenly you don't, it doesn't have to be some weird clicky thing. There are barriers you don't have to stay within for it to remain metal. It can be a joke, as you say. Rob Halford can be gay, any number of things, you know what I mean? Like things that when I was a kid in junior high wouldn't have worked. But then you grow up, and I think you personally develop. A lot of guys in metal don't do that development, and so suddenly seeing you as a much more specialized appeal of a band than they realize. There's not a lot of people that think that way.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this a lot of times. There was a guy that was heavily critical of our. He said he loved our music, and then he started getting really critical of this new album before it was even out, because he felt like I wasn't being true or something like that. And I just kind of was like, fuck you, I don't care. And he's moved. He's just decided to stop listening to it now, and he says, I've moved on. And it's just kind of a really weird thing. I mean, it's fine if you don't like it anymore. That's fine. But it's kind of like I've made peace with all the aspects of the music. Do you know what I mean? I actually just love the music, and I'm not gonna. It's not about legitimacy or anything like that.
Man, you are on the right show, buddy. I'm not joking. This is, and the other thing is that we're all older guys. I mean, sort of everybody on this podcast is in their 40s to 50s,
except Matt.
And I just can't say enough how that is this kind of weird struggle that happens, and then sooner or later you just have to kind of withdraw and just sit there and enjoy your music, because you're not going to convert anybody to this kind of forward thinking thing. I'm not making much sense, but I just do want to say that really resonates with me, and it's not surprising to me that you had to develop it in a small town with agoraphobia. That you got to be in a vacuum to be able to think that well, I think.
Yeah, actually, no, I've just lost my point. Go on. Continue.
I was just say I would go back as far as to say, like, being young and listening to metal and being told, like, when you get older, that's not going to be something that you listen to, in the sense of, I feel like at the age of 39, I've listened to it more than I ever did as a kid. And it just becomes like, it is something that defines me. I don't know a ton of people in my close circle that listen to a lot of metal, and that's okay. And it kind of becomes something that I own, and that's mine, and I'm okay that nobody else enjoys it or sees it as something that's legit. Whereas we all know from the inside, we can laugh at them knowing that, what we have is very concrete and legit.
Yeah, how many people?
It's a very real thing.
How many people that we went to high school with that liked metal, within a few years after high school, you're still going, yeah, death metal just came out. This is awesome. And they're like, yeah, I like country now. Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. I mean, which is fine. But it is, if they walked away for the reason they did, the reasons we're talking about here, it's a shame. It's a shame. And it's a real shame to watch it happen with bands, to kind of bring this full circle. Because one of the other great examples I would use of late is Mastodon, and I think they've just walked into a different direction. That they're welcome to it, but I'm not going with them. You know.
Well, like I noticed, Jay, when certain people in my life start asking me about Mastodon that I know nothing about Mastodon, that was kind of like, oh, okay. How did you learn about Mastodon? You know, and kind of what circles are they starting to enter? Where it's like it tends to have me put the brakes on a little bit.
Sure.
I wouldn't say that I sort of. I agree with you that I'm just not going with certain bands in certain directions. I'll always like the early stuff, you know,
there you
like
go.
Remission, and I like Leviathan and that. And it's the same with Opeth in a way. I've fallen off a bit when it comes to. I do like prog, don't get me wrong, but I really liked them for that reason. I really liked them because it was the prog folky death metal thing, but the death metal thing was absolutely integral to that. Otherwise, it's just gone in a direction. It's like, you know, we've just joined a lot of other bands that sound like that to me. You know,
it's a frequent that particular band is a frequent conversation on this podcast because some of us are huge fans and some of us were huge fans, and I fit in the were huge fans thing, which is like, for instance, there was a time there when I thought these guys are going to rule the world. You know, I mean, in my world, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, it kind of changed scripts, and they're welcome to do it, by the way. And I even appreciate the people.
Yeah,
John remains a big fan, and John, I trust John. You know what I mean? So to me, that means they're still doing something worth listening to. It's just not right for me.
Oh yeah, it's still extremely good. I just think that, like, as well, when you say rule the world, that kind of resonates with me because we are in our little niche sort of thing, and we're just like, sometimes I'll hear a band and I'll just think, how can everyone not be into this band? Well, if you listen to it, it's obvious. You know, it's screaming and it's, you know, all over the place.
You know, it's not my job to continually stroke our guests, but I would put Slugdge in that category.
I was thinking
I've
the
tried
same
to give
thing.
this record to a few people, and the people who don't get it as much as I get it, I'm like, good, then fuck you. There's more for me. I mean, that's how much I like your record. So.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of what we knew that was going to be the case, because that's what the kind of the esoteric malacology thing was about, to be understood by few, and it's kind of like, we knew that we were niche, and we don't want to sacrifice the stupid thing that we do just to sort of make, you know, because ultimately I've read people saying, if only they were more serious, you know, I might be into. It's like, get over it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love how it really is meaningful. I love how aware of it you are, and that it was a calculated thing in its way. I mean, it really adds a new layer of appreciation for this record to me.
I think what it does is it probably opens up even more avenues for you to make it even more ridiculous in your own way if you want to, while still putting out good music. Because the more you hear people say that,
Totally.
it just drives you to say, well, fine, now I'm going to have a 5-headed slug that's going to rule the underworld, and it's going to fuck your brains up, and it's going to be great music on top of it. I think
Let's load both barrels.
Yeah, and
I mean,
go double-fisted on top of that.
Yeah, I remember reading an Invisible Orange's article about us once. It was saying something like the fact that it's inaccessible might be the thing that drives them to their highest heights, and it's kind of like, it does. It really does. That kind of we loved the fact that people were just expecting slam or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Some absolutely sort of, and then that's not what they got. Because I take it to things that I like Ackercocker, people like that, where I'd see them and I'd think, what the hell are these people doing? And then I'd hear them, and it would all separate, and I would just be like, this is amazing. And people have got to. They're not going to ever get away from image. They're not ever going to get away from what they deem as being serious, and it will always plague their sort of choices. But I really appreciate it when people can see past all that stuff, if you know what I mean. Like I say of our fans, that we have the greatest fans. I mean, everyone says that, but, you know, ours are buying like every color of vinyl, and they're fully into the Molluska thing, and I just love it. I love talking about it as though it's real. Do you know what I mean?
Anyone that that dismisses the band saying, oh, well, they're not taking this seriously. They're not getting any further than reading the song titles. Because once you listen to the music, you realize, wow, the song titles may be tongue in cheek, but this is some serious music.
Yeah, but there's something. But I love the satire too. Like, that's meaningful to me, and it's not just comedy. That sort of like commitment to taking this silly thing seriously.
Yeah. I feel like you can tell a lot about a person by their sense of humor and how they use a sense of humor. And I mean that in a positive way, in the sense that I feel like there's another level of intelligence there. And I would, apply that to your music as well.
So,
we're not the smartest people in the world.
But your English, your schooling was better than ours.
But it does go back to real issues and real things that aren't serious, and some of those things you're using humor to deal with, and I think that says good about it.
It implies more thought than the average person might apply to something.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, George.
Yeah, it's some of it's not contrived. Some of it's sort of we know what we're doing. We knew what we were doing when we were doing things. We knew we even knew the kinds of people that would like our music. It's us. It's people like us. So that was what we want. Do you know what I mean? But not exactly like us, but with the same kinds of sensibilities and kind of the the way they think. But a lot of it was by mistake as well. Like, it was just happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we feel the same way about the people that listen to the podcast. People that listen to our podcast tend to think the way we do about particular music, at least based on having talked to them. So it's understandable.
Yeah, because if they don't like it, they don't listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, some people can make stuff, and you can't tell what that person's like, But I think if it's a copy, or not a copy, what's the word? If it's very derivative stuff, then I think you can kind of get, I don't know, it's when there's not enough of you in it. I think I struggle to tell what that band is all about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like to think that we put a lot of ourselves into it.
That's the problem with quote unquote corporate music like metalcore and things like that. It's not so much that the style of music is bad. And like I've heard a lot of metal people complain about things that sounded too commercial because maybe there were clean vocals or there wasn't, there was acoustic guitars or something like that. And it has really nothing to do with even the style of music. Any style of music can be good. It's the level of effort and the intent put into it. And if all it is aping something else that sounds exactly the same, there's no soul.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not claiming that we're not derivative in ways. I think it's very difficult, impossible even, to create something completely original, because we are building on the shoulders of the people that have come before us, and that's partly what all the song titles are about. I mean, someone said it isn't them paying homage; it's like their declaration of war, and I just thought, no, it's not. It is literally us paying homage to that.
Well, like you said,
yeah.
everybody's...
And that was clear. That's clear to me, by the way.
Everybody's influenced by something. I mean, like I said, nothing under the sun is original, but it's how you choose to interpret that. The bands that are not genuine, they're not trying to figure themselves out through music. They're trying to make something that sounds specifically like something else.
Like that guy I like, yeah.
They're like, all right.
They're kind of... Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, there's, we need to sound like Slipknot. We need to sound like freaking Avenged Sevenfold or whatever. And that's where the problem comes in. Yeah,
I kind of... I sympathize with that, because, I mean, when I used to sort of play guitar in the mirror, I actually made one out of cardboard at first when I was a little kid, and I just used to stand there playing it, like, jumping around to Metallica. I wanted to be Metallica. I wanted to be that band. I wanted to write music like their music. But you're never going to be that band unless you don't write music like their music, because otherwise you're just going to be them. But I get it. Like, when you listen to your own stuff, and if it's a bit too out there. It's kind of, and some of them are that we've written and we've never put on albums, and I just kind of it's not got enough of what I like, and what I like has been dictated by other bands.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I do think that, so we were talking about personal growth a while back there, at least I brought it up, and I think that's the thing that happens. Like, we were all that kid in front of the mirror. Everybody on this show, there's no question about that. And there's a point where you have to switch over from understanding, I want to, because I think part of it too is you want to be appreciated like Metallica. You want somebody to hear your music and like it the way have the experience you're having. And that's never going to happen until you kind of blow all that apart and just really find your thing. And that's hard to do. That's hard to do it. And it's hard to do it in the world of metal, which is, there's not a lot of great thinkers in metal. There are some. You can find them. But what I mean is you're in kind of a rough neighborhood.
And we have our own self-imposed boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think this all goes to, I think, and that is really what we're all about in this show, that metal is art. It's just as legitimate as any other art form. If you can't feel it, I'm sorry, but what are you going to do?
Jay, I'd like to say there aren't a lot of great thinkers in music, period, if you want to just go that route then.
Good point.
I mean, let's be honest.
You're right.
I mean, what we're talking about, and just looking at what's popular today, I would hazard a guess that there are zero, in some areas.
Well stated, John.
Well, yeah, I get this a lot, sorry, where I did an article when I was on about my political opinions because somebody asked me about my political opinions, and I'm always careful to say, like, I'm just an entertainer. I'm not like, don't take to what I say too seriously, But some people do for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Some people do, yeah. We're at an hour and 15 minutes here, which is great. I'm just loving this conversation we're having. We will need to kind of transfer to the rest of the episode. Were you going to stick around with us then? No?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, sure.
So why don't we make that transition and get the last questions?
I have one last question, and it's about the new album. Have you picked a color yet?
Yeah, no.
Not that you have to tell us, but
I was thinking purple, but it might be black.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a mold. Some focus on mold there. If you go black.
Yeah, black and white.
The Black Mold album.
Yeah, Black Mold album.
We won't be slowing everything down though, and
we could talk about that one for a while.
No Bob Rock.
So no ooh yeahs coming our way.
No.
Hey,
we'll stick to what we've been doing.
Yeah. Hey Matt, before we transition, you can't see it, but I'm here with my two children who do love heavy metal, and they have 3 questions for you. I'm instituting a new segment. Will's kids have a question.
Let's do it. Awesome.
My
First
son
of all,
William.
he can't see them right now. Tell them their ages.
Yeah, William, who's sitting on my lap, is 4.5, and Evelyn, who is hanging on my shoulder, is 7. And they want to know if you like Black Sabbath.
I do, yeah.
They also want to know, do you like Dio?
I like some of it, and I think he's an amazing vocalist, but not all of it. Not all of it is for me.
And then what's the last question, William?
Was an amazing vocalist.
He wants to know if you like pizza.
Oh,
pizza. Yeah, but not from Italy. I found that it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah, they do it wrong there.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, I'm not joking. It's like, that makes us all really white people, but it's like people who go to China go, the food's just not the same.
No. I prefer the sort of pizza pie, sort of, the American style pizza. I can't be doing with all that sort of really thin and loads of sort of uncooked hams all slapped on it. I wasn't enjoying it.
I've heard that about Italian pizza.
Will you do me a favor, Will, and tell them that those were really good questions?
These were good questions, guys. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, do we want to move on to the news then? All right. So our first news item I thought was interesting. The University of Manchester and Liverpool, researchers there released a study saying that young heavy metal fans are at increased risk of self-harm and suicide, which I kind of thought we were past this phase of heavy metal, people complaining about it. However, having read a little more of the article, I understand what they're saying, but still, I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Well, what are they saying?
Basically, that
So it was some study. It was some, bullshit study thing.
basically
So
that
what
people that like this kind of music tend to have issues, tend to listen to violent music because they have violent tendencies, blah blah blah, or they want to hurt themselves. And I mean, I get that. I listen to heavy metal because it helps you deal with what's going on in your life. So I mean, I understand that. I just don't know that it warrants a study.
I just think you can, you know what, man? You can come up with data that proves anything one way or another,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all how you
Sort of.
word the questions, how you construct the study. I mean, any poll, you take it for what it is and leave it at that.
Yeah, it depends on your objectivity and your inherent biases when you go into something.
I mean-
Do you ignore research or data that disproves what you have a preconceived notion of what the data should say in the end? In other words, if you don't like heavy metal and you want to go out and prove this in a study, well, then you can ignore research or data that doesn't go along with what you have.
Let's not overlook the fact that this was done in Manchester and Liverpool. So I'm wondering if Matt was a part of this study.
If I was, it would explain why it might come out like that. But it's kind of it makes it's just a thing that where they're saying, like, I think I read it and it said something along the lines of goth and whatever. I think there's some people there's personalities that are just sort of drawn to the darker the things. It tends to go hand in hand with I know a lot of people that are into metal who are younger are into like serial killers or reading about whatever
Horror
paranormal
films.
horror films, stuff like that. Some people, I think it's a personality thing where people are just drawn to certain kinds of things. I mean, I love when music sounds evil as fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like really dark. But as I've got older, that's become much less of an aspect of the reason. I love the music because I love the music now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can see why it might correlate with that, but it's nothing to do with the music, which is what the implication is by the article.
And
It's funny. I had picked up these two books recently, and one is a tribute to Celtic Frost, and one is a tribute to Merciful Fate. These little comic book things, and they really did a good job of kind of interpreting these bands. And one of the things I was reminded of, especially with Merciful Fate and Melissa, was how fucking scary that record was the first time I heard it, and how drawn to it I was. And then this was a whole different time. People weren't really doing things like that, and so there is some weird aspect of the unknown and the dark and the thing but then it starts to just become familiar ground to you. Then you're just sort of like oh, Satan.
But I think that's that sort of search for more and more heavy, more and more brutal stuff. You tend to do that, and I think that's part of it. Like when you watch horror, you want something which is scarier. You want something which is more violent. Yeah, but it's nothing to do with it. I mean, we all have frontal lobes. I mean, I used to do cognitive neuroscience at university, but it was in Preston and not Liverpool, and a lot of it's the sort of limbic system trying to express itself, which is your sort of reptile brain, your predator brain, trying to express itself while being stifled by your not stifled by, controlled by, thankfully, by your orbital cortex. Some people, that system breaks down and they go on killing sprees, but it doesn't mean that.
Could we please have one episode where somebody doesn't say orbital cortex? Just kidding.
Yeah.
That was great. That was the first.
that sounded
podcast.
very intelligent.
Well, I think it was.
You were just saying how you didn't think you guys were all that smart, but that sounded
It's-
intelligent.
It's just a bit behind the eyes, basically.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, you're like, I got to dumb it down a shade for these guys.
It's basically, if you're a sniper, it's the kill box.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Well, where can you go?
Can you guys see me now? I tried to change
No.
something.
Is it
Like,
a
am I
picture?
frozen? You can't see
No,
me at
you're
all.
just it's
Well,
just
you're
your
sort of frozen in
icon.
that it's a still picture.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I was really excited by this next one. King Diamond is preparing to enter the studio for his first new album in 11 years.
Better be better than that last one.
Yeah, but
The last one. Are you a Merciful Fate King Diamond fan at all, Matt?
Not particularly, but
Your honesty is
alright.
appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, George. I don't know. King lost something somewhere along the way. I'm all for the live shows and everything, but I did not care for that last one. I thought the last good one was Puppet Master.
but a lot has changed since the last record in King's life. So, who knows? It's been 11 years. Maybe it's time for that comeback album.
Okay.
We'll see.
You know what? I'm going to side with you.
I choose to be optimistic. If I'm let down, then so be it.
Yeah.
Still going to come out before the new Tool album, that's for sure.
Probably. So this next one, apparently we had the scoop on this, but we didn't get it out in time. Carcass.
But that's good. I have a comment after you say that. That's a good thing we didn't scoop it.
Carcass has demoed 50 minutes of new music for a new album. And these guys talked to Bill Steer at the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest a couple of weeks ago, and he told them something similar.
Well, but here's my comment on this, is that we did get sort of scooped on that in a good sort of way, because Carcass, the guy posted this interview, and then Carcass themselves on their Facebook page said, "You fucking moron, that's been known for a long time, blah, blah, blah." They really went off on this guy.
Good.
We saved ourselves some embarrassment.
Okay, so we didn't have the scoop. All right, so I just got mine in the mail yesterday. Control Denied, the other project that Chuck from Death did. Relapse has released The Fragile Art of Existence on vinyl. And as I said, mine just came in the mail yesterday. I got the cool picture disc version. Anybody else checking that out?
I don't like the singer that much. Sorry.
Anyway.
Well, okay. Actually, I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
It's Chuck, I know. What are we going to do?
Yeah. So I probably should have removed this one because the album has actually since come out since I wrote it, but Septic Tank, featuring Lee Dorian, released a song called Death Vase, and they have in fact released the whole album now as of several days ago. So yeah. It's well, I'm like, gee, do I talk about what I'm going to talk? I'll just talk about it now and skip it later. But yeah, Septic Tank. It's a couple of Lee Dorian and a couple other guys from Cathedral playing like punky thrash music, and I like it. It's it's different than Cathedral. It's different from his Napalm Death stuff. It's just kind of fun.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like DRI, Municipal Waste.
Yeah, I was thinking Municipal Waste.
Yeah.
All right. The band Satan has signed with Metal Blades, and they're planning to release an album in late 2018.
They signed a multi-record contract, too.
Nice.
And they're old. Those guys are old.
Yeah, we saw them at Maryland Death Fest a few years ago. And in fact, you guys interviewed a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sat down with them. Nice guys.
Yeah. I thought this next one would interest Jay. James Hetfield has apparently had a guitar made from wood from the garage of the Metallica house. And Jay's always talking about how he lives relatively near to the Metallica house. And that's, of course, where they wrote and demoed like Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm about 5 miles from it. Matt, you don't know, but I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. So this is, Metallica Central and so on and so forth. But I don't know how he just went and grabbed a chunk of wood, I guess. I don't know, or something maybe he's held on to over the years.
It's floorboards, I think, isn't it?
Oh, it was a floorboard. Have you seen the pictures?
Yeah, it's I think they call it Carl or something like that, and it's got nails sticking out of it and all sorts. I don't know how that sounds. I don't know what the sort of.
I'm curious to know.
Apparently, it's fine. I don't know.
Well, the irony is that it's this reclaimed wood project, if you will, but I'm sure it cost about $20,000 to produce. I'm sure he paid like out the ass to. Not that that's a big deal for him, but yeah, more power to him. I wish that they could spiritually connect with that garage a little more, but I don't think that'll ever happen again.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
Probably not.
So
bless their heart.
The next few items are all about forthcoming albums. Ross the Boss, formerly of Manowar, is going to be releasing a new album by Blood Sworn just next week on April 20th. Doro is getting ready to release in August a new album called Forever Warriors, Forever United. I'm a big fan of Doro. When I got to, I mean, I saw her and Warlock back in like '87, and she was amazing. And then I got to see her again last year at Wacken, and holy shit! I mean, Matt was there. I fucking lost my mind when she came out.
I was just saying, I was glad to share that moment with you. That and Ross the Boss, in fact.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't even there in an official capacity, like as a band. She was just part of the like opening ceremonies, if you will, and like came out and played with a group of other people and stuff. But they did like All We Are and stuff like that, and it was just like tears in the rain, man. It was amazing. Who else do we have? A Pale Horse Named Death. Which is the band by Sal Abrascato, formerly of Typo Negative and Life of Agony. It's been a while, they're getting ready to release a new album this fall, apparently. Powerwolf, who we also saw at Wacken last year, getting ready.
I think I've seen them every year they've been there.
Yeah.
They've been there every year I've been there.
Wow, they're regulars like Running Wild. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they're getting ready to release a new album sometime later this year called The Sacrament of Sin. One of the few power metal bands that I really like. And most importantly, and dear to my heart, Voivod has completed recording a new album that will be also out sometime later this year. Definitely looking forward to that. If there are no other comments, we will move on to new releases.
This week's new releases, here they are. Spend your hard-earned money now.
This first one, the band is called Ascension, and this is their third album called Under Ether. They're a German black metal band. I came across these guys when their last album came out, and I liked it a lot. I listened to this one. I liked it a lot as well. I was talking to our friend Neutrino, trying to sell him on some other bands, and I just kind of slipped this one in too, and he was like, dude! He really liked this one, so I had to go back and listen to it again. And yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, while you were slipping it into Neutrino, I actually bought this album on like a first couple listens, so first couple like notes really. So
it's really good, isn't it?
It's to me it's kind of like Behemoth, like epic blackened death metal. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've given it a bit of a listen. I wasn't actually aware of it until you put it on the list, but it does sound good.
Well, we get that a lot.
That I would like.
That's why that's a good big chunk of why we do this is people don't hear about these bands, and we like to make people aware.
Yeah, no, I think I'll probably enjoy that one, but I do need to give it a proper listen at some point. Probably later.
Yeah. This next one, I believe, is pronounced Born, but it's Borgne, so I don't know if it's Born or I just say Born, like the Born Identity.
I'll take a stab at it. Slugdge. No, I got it.
Cheese. Anyway, the album's called Infinity. It's their seventh album. They're a Swiss. They used to be just straight black metal, but they've sort of incorporated a little bit of an industrial element, a la like Emptiness, perhaps. And I've liked their last few albums, so you should check that out.
Yeah, I checked it out real quickly, and the first couple of minutes I listened to, I did like it. My notes are good black metal.
That which is like an oxymoron for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that surprises me.
No, actually, my brewery last night, we had a black and death metal show, and I really enjoyed some of the black metal bands.
We're going to get you on our team yet.
Who did you have, Will?
Imperial Triumphant from New York City and Sick Deer, who are local here in D.C. Then up where you are, George, it was Inhumation.
Yeah.
In Frederick, Maryland.
Isn't that...
They're really good.
Is that, what's his name's band? No, that's a band you were telling me about.
Yeah, and then another kind of local blackish metal band called Genevieve.
Cool.
Anyway, a side note.
Next up, we have the new Demonical album, Chaos Manifesto. It's the fifth album from a Swedish death metal band that has roots in Sentinex. So if you like Sentinex, you should check out Demonical.
Yeah, I really like this album.
Yeah, it sounds like Bloodbath and Amon Amarth.
Yeah.
Sort of bastard child with a bit of entrails thrown in. I like this. I like this
Oh.
kind of stuff, though.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm learning a couple things here today.
This next one is one that is high up on my list right now, and that's the new Hands of Despair, Well of the Disquieted. They're a Montreal progressive black death band. It's their third album, and this is right up there with Sludged for me. So it's quite good. Will seems to think it goes a little too all over the place. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, I guess it just like here's a good example. We're interviewing Matt from Slugdge, and they have there's a lot of aspects of the different subgenres in their music. There's clean singing, there's some progressive stuff, there's some death. But for some reason, when I was listening to Hands of Despair, like there's elements of it I kind of like, but overall I just didn't get into it. And I think part of it was that I'm very particular about my clean singing when it's mixed with death. And like I think Opeth does it really well. I think
did it really well.
Yeah, they did it in the past very well. And there's a few bands that could do it really well. I think Sludge does it very well, where it doesn't detract. But it just, for some reason, when I listen to Hands of Despair, it detracts.
You despair.
It for me. I am in despair. My hands are in my head is in my hands in complete despair over. I mean, I don't hate it. It's not going to make my list. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, George.
Right.
I tried.
It's all right.
I listened to this.
I've got John on my side, right?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I've listened to it quite a bit, and I ended up going back and listening to previous material. I'm fine with it. We'll see. I don't know where it'll make it on my list, but
it's okay. I'll allow it to live.
it's the absolute greatest album I've ever heard in
There
my
you
life.
go.
Oh, well, damn.
At least within the last 72 hours.
I mean, better than Steel Panther? What?
I don't consider Steel Panther music.
So there you go.
And Jay, I thought you bought it too.
Yeah, I like it. I have to give more. It's only gotten listened to once, and I listened to it at work, so that means I was distracted. But it appealed to me. I'll be giving it more listens for sure.
I like the concept. It's a mental illness, and it's about someone with a mental disorder or something. I haven't really listened to it very much. I've heard bits from it, but it's definitely one I might be interested in listening to more, I think.
Cool.
I have the thing I've been most sold on, based on everybody's comments, was the Demonical, which I haven't listened to yet. So you got to beat that, George.
Okay. Next, we have the new Panopticon, The Scars of Man on the Once Nameless Wilderness, 7th album, and it's a double album. The first half of the album is his traditional atmospheric black metal, and the second album is like a folk Americana music, which I'm glad to finally have some of this recorded on an album. I mean, there may be some singles out there that are like that as well, but twice I think we've seen them live now, and they always mix in some of this folk stuff, and I'm like, man, he does this so freaking well. He needs to record some of this stuff, and he finally has. So.
Well, I kind of point out, too, the reason it's a double album is they couldn't fit the title on a single record. It had to be a gatefold.
Well, yeah, because you forgot parts 1 and 2 there. Too.
Exactly.
Also, so.
I didn't.
Go ahead,
No,
Jordan.
I was just going to comment on the parts 1 and 2.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, though. I mean, he does both the black metal and the Americana fabulously, separately and together.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to hear just a whole album of just straight Americana folk.
It would have been interesting had he mixed them together. So it was maybe 2 songs are black metal, then a folk song, then another black metal.
Yeah.
But keeping them apart was okay too. I can always put it on mix. So.
Yeah, I love this album, and I love the concept as well.
Yeah.
Have you known them for a while? I take it probably, Matt.
Yeah. I've listened to everything they put out. It's just, it's one of my favorites of recent times. This one.
Yeah, they come up on the pod a lot.
So next up is the Septic Tank, which we already kind of talked about. Rotting Civilization is the first album. Unless anybody else has a comment on that, we can move on. All right, and the final new release, Skeletal Remains, Devouring Mortality. Their third album. They're from California, and they do sort of, I guess, an old school death metal, maybe.
Yeah, that's the right way to put it. And this one's a step forward from the last one. I'm not a huge fan, but I know their stuff. I like to check out the California bands. I've seen them a couple of times because they roll through here with, they'll come down to open for people. It's just a bunch of Hispanic kids that are in some farm town that living in their little death metal bubble. And this one is a step forward for them. So, bless their hearts.
Yeah, I bought it. I like it.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah, it's decent.
It's decent.
Yeah.
There you go.
Decent.
I mean, it's not going to change your life, but it's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we move on to Skullcrushers? This time, we have Jay versus Kiss. Now, for Matt or anybody else that doesn't know, Skullcrushers is essentially where one of the guys each episode will pick a band, and then the rest of us try and hit them with essentially trivia questions to see whether or not their knowledge is as good as they like to think it is. And since
Matt and Matt are both with us, I do have to add a caveat to this. The reason I chose this band was, as a kid in the 70s, I was crazy about Kiss. And that's not to say I think they're silly now or anything. I don't like what they do now. But in the 70s, they were hard to beat for me. And they're one of the first bands that I really kind of trained myself on with metal and rock and roll. So I read everything. So it's going to be hard to stump me on this.
we'll see.
I
about
did
that.
enjoy your last conversation.
I know little to nothing about Kiss, so I'm going to be useless in this.
Well, sit back and relax. You're about to learn a lot, my friend.
What were you saying, Matt,
Jay,
about...
I have to say, Jay, I did enjoy your conversation about Kiss on the last podcast, the one from
Were you
the
a
Beer
fan as a
Fest.
kid?
with
Were you a
Jonas?
fan as a kid?
Well, I was. I had an older cousin who enlightened me to Kiss, which was going to be one of my only question for you. But so I spent a little bit of time with him, but definitely not a ton.
Yeah. Well, if you were 8 years old in Wisconsin in 1979, it was the thing to do.
Well, why don't we start
All right.
with your question then, Matt?
Come at me.
Well, when I was 10 years old in Duluth, my cousin gave me a dubbed cassette of a Kiss album, which would be my first Kiss album. Jay, which album was that?
Your first Kiss record?
Yeah.
Your first Kiss record was...
It was also the first vinyl record I bought.
What year was it?
Well, I would have been.
And I know it wasn't necessarily the new record, but...
He was
It would have
10.
been.
So he's 39
This is a
now.
math
It
question.
would not have been It would not have been in the new album at the time.
Okay.
But it was in the 70s, you said?
I'd say it would have been in the 80s.
In the 80s.
But yeah, I think the album we're talking about is from the 70s. I think.
Okay. I believe it was Love Gun.
Dude, nice.
The force is strong with him.
Jay,
Wow,
just
dude.
drop the mic.
That
One
was
for
something.
one.
I pulled that one out of my ass.
I would have
Ridiculous.
gone. I can't even think of what it is. The hell's it
It's
called,
Love Gun,
Jay?
George.
What's the one I'm thinking of?
Rock and Roll Over.
No.
I'll see if I can read everybody's mind.
Destroyer.
Oh, yeah, okay. That was a reasonable second.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
But I mean, from my standpoint, Jay, as a not the biggest Kiss fan, that will always be true, near and dear to me, Love Gun, because that was the first album I heard. I memorized those songs back and forth on the cassette as I flipped it back and forth. And so I don't know, like where in real Kiss fans, I don't know where that album stands within their whole catalog, but
I would say right
that's what I
around.
have to say. Yeah, right.
All right. Why don't we do John then?
Come at me, bro.
I'm going to give you an easy one to start, Jay.
Perfect.
Can you name which song by Kiss is not about sex? Trick question. They're all about sex. All right. Now that we've got that out of the way, since no one's confused anymore, what is the original name of when Gene Simmons and Paul
Wicked
Stanley
Lester.
first got together?
Wicked Lester.
Before that.
Oh, fuck you, man.
This is funny because when I didn't know this, and I'm hoping this is not just anecdotal information for me, but things could have went quite differently had they stuck with this name.
Was it something like the Wild, Traveling Flower Band or something like that? Or I don't know what it is. I'm sure I'll know it when you say it.
You in terms, I guess, the first recording stuff they did, yes, was Wicked Lester, but apparently they were originally named Rainbow
Yeah.
before they became Wicked Lester, and I thought that could have went really bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Who's around first? Rainbow or Kiss's Rainbow?
Would have been Kiss,
Well,
probably.
That would have been like 1970, I think, when they got
Yeah,
together.
okay, yeah,
So,
it would have been Kiss.
yeah. Okay, a couple more here, Jay. Which famous guitarist auditioned before Ace Frehley joined the band? So he actually went in right before Ace Frehley went in to audition for the band.
I do know this. Wow, you got good ones, John. Because usually I'm just like,
Well, I'll give you this hint.
is it?
You can
Bob
phone a
Kulick?
friend. You can phone Jonas.
Yeah.
Is it Bob Kulick?
No.
Shoot, who is it?
I'll give you a hint. The band he ended up in has slightly similar traits to Kiss.
Steel Panther?
The dude from Alice Cooper?
No.
The dude from, I don't know.
Apparently, J.J. French from Twisted Sister auditioned
That makes
I've never
sense.
heard
for Ace Frehley.
'Cause he's from New York.
And yeah, and then you have the whole Twisted Sister has a similar stage, not just in some of the dress up and stuff like
I
that.
didn't know that. Well, wow, so far the only one I've gotten right I couldn't possibly have known. Okay, let's keep going.
All right, I got two more for you real quick. Who is famous with saying Gene Simmons probably invented breathing in shoes?
Paul Stanley.
I'm sure Paul said that somewhere down the line, but no. I'll give you a hint. Did you watch the movie Metal, A Headbanger's Journey?
God, you're getting me some good ones, John. Yeah,
Oh, I know this.
let's hear
That's
it.
the only one I do know.
Oh, well, fucking let it out, man.
It's Dio, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
He's very tongue-in-cheek because later on in the movie he takes a shot again about the fact that Gene Simmons put a patent on OJ.
right. Oh, and the whole thing.
All right,
Wait,
Man, I'm
you put a
failing.
patent on orange juice?
OJ. I think the phrase OJ, if I'm not mistaken.
Just
Breathing in shoes. That's two good choices, by the
for
way.
the sake of it?
Pretzels and dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
He invented the
VO, what's that? Well,
so like Gene Simmons invented the wheel.
yeah. Oh,
I expected to really wow you guys, and that it's not happening.
well, hold on, Jay. Let's see if you know this one. Then there's
You are redeemed.
there's some
Some redemption.
if he knows this, there's some concerns, but nonetheless. Do you know what the song Plaster Caster is about?
I do.
See? Concerns.
Yeah.
You have
It's
at it,
about
Jay.
I believe it was the GTOs, but it was a groupie group, and they had one particular person who would make a plaster cast of various artists'
John.
private areas, so that they could later then make sex toys out of those.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's such a sort of like radio-friendly song, and when you're 12, like I was, the first time you heard it, you were like, "This is great." You know, I have no idea what it was about.
Kind of like the first time you heard Nothing to Lose, then you realize what it's really about.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got.
Okay, those are good ones. All right, I did redeem a little bit.
Will?
All right,
Will?
Jay, I think these are all softballs.
Perfect.
All right, I mean this first one is a super softball. Like if you don't hit a grand slam on this, then I'm gonna hang up.
Hang
Oh,
on.
are the bases loaded for him to hit the grand slam?
Yeah, they are.
That's a good
Because
feeling.
there's a whole bunch of questions he missed that are on base right now.
Oh, okay.
What
They
is
were
the
walks.
first?
Nice one, Will.
What is the first album where they took off their makeup?
Look it up.
Okay, so I want to give you a softball. This one
Appreciate it.
is slightly less of a softball. It should still be a softball. Do my lyrics thing. I'll read you some lyrics. I'll read you the first line and see if you know the song.
Sure.
I know a thing or two about her.
Christine 16. Oh, Strutter.
Yep. First line of the first Kiss song and the first Kiss album.
Get up and get your grandma out of here.
Okay. And then this, I'm going to brutalize you. Name all the Kiss records
Fuck.
in order, and you can stop at, I'll give you a hint. Number 11 is Lick It Up. You don't have to name that one. See if you can name the first 10 in order.
Self-titled.
Yep.
Hotter Than Hell.
Yep.
Dress to Kill.
Yep.
Alive One.
Yeah.
Just studio out. Just studio.
Just Studio. Destroyer.
Yep.
Rock and Roll Over.
Yep.
Love Gun.
Yep.
Alive 2. 4 solo records. Paul, Gene, Ace, Frehley. Dynasty.
Si, senor.
Unmasked.
Claro que sí.
Music from the Elder.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures of the Night.
Well done, sir.
Lick It Up. Animalize. and then it gets really hazy after that because this was when I was, listening to Slayer.
In 1985.
I won't get the rest except Hot in the Shade, Crazy Nights.
Asylum was after that.
Asylum.
Asylum.
Crazy Nights, Hot in the Shade.
Hot in the Shade.
That's where I stopped.
Revenge, maybe.
Yep, Revenge.
Boy, it gets really weird after that. Carnival of Souls.
Yep.
Psycho Circus.
Yep.
And then they had two after that. One was called Monster, and one was called Sonic Boom, but I don't know what order they came in.
Sonic Boom first, Monster in 2012. So, well done, sir.
Thanks. It could have been worse.
No, I'm much like you, where I grew up like my first. I remember when I moved into my new house when I was 4, and the kids next door who were my age and boy was a little bit older, they were obsessed with Kiss, and so therefore, in the mid 70s, I was obsessed with Kiss. I had Kiss vinyl, I had double platinum, I had
Double platinum.
Love Gun, I had a live 1 or 2, I forget which one. But like Kiss was one of my first rock and roll loves, and I followed them all the way up to. Like, I actually, weirdly enough, I really like Lick It Up, Analyze, and Asylum. I think Asylum is one of my favorite ones, weirdly enough.
Animalize.
I saw him. My first concert was Animalized tour.
Yeah.
I was 13.
Yeah. So I have a deep appreciation for them, but I guess as my musical taste got more extreme, kind of like you in the 80s, you started listening to Metallica, Slayer, the Big Four, and all that stuff.
And Show No Mercy came out, and everything went south after that.
Yeah.
South of Heaven.
Thank
you.
All right. Got a couple.
Kim John George.
Anyway, who created the Kiss logo?
Ace Frehley.
Yes. There's another easy one. What record label released their first 10 studio albums?
Casablanca.
Yep.
Well, that's the same record label that went bankrupt because of them.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. We already did the Wicked Lester question. How long did it take Love Gun to go platinum?
Shipped platinum, I believe. It shipped platinum.
Not quite.
Didn't it? Okay, so let's just say 2 weeks.
That is it. 2 weeks. All right. And my last question. What color are the fingernails on the back of the Hotter Than Hell album cover?
That's good, George. And I have to be honest with you, I don't have that on vinyl, so I would say it's one of 2 colors. It's either black or red. I'm going to start with black.
Nope.
Wow, that's a good question, dude. Orange?
Nope.
I give up.
Green.
Green, that was my next guess. Shoot. It really was.
I would have never thought. I was like, if he knows this one, I will truly bow down to him.
It's funny. I don't think I ever owned that one on vinyl because like my funds were limited as a child, so I only had like 6 Kiss records, and then I started getting cassettes and stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's move on to
reasonable showing.
Yeah. Let's move on to our top 5. This time, in honor of Molluska, we're doing our top 5 songs about creatures from the animal kingdom and or monsters of any kind. Anything remotely animal related is going to count here. And
this is going to be fun. My prediction is that we're all going to be going, God damn it, I didn't think of that. So this should be a good one.
Yeah, I think you're right because I just picked the first.
5 you could think of.
Yeah, the first 5 that came off the top of my head. I'm sure.
My first one is going to blow your mind.
All right. Now, Matt, you said you came up with a list.
Yeah. Again, there's just sort of the first 5 that I could think of.
Yeah, that's the way.
It's a really, really difficult because it says an animal in the name, and you don't know whether it's about an animal.
It doesn't have to be necessarily about. Just referencing it in some way.
It's just a fun mental exercise. But so give us just your 5. We'll go around with our 5s.
Well, the way we do this is, we start with the guest, and then we work through each of us. We all give our 5. Then it'll loop back to you. You'll do your 4, and we go around and do our 4s, and so on down to our number 1. So give us your number 5.
And feel free to jump in and ridicule anybody.
So my first one was obvious to me. It's Destiny of the Slug by Circle of Dead Children.
Nice.
Nice.
That is a good choice and an appropriate
Yeah.
choice.
That was awesome.
All right.
You're already winning at this list. So.
Other Matt.
Matt.
I know this one is completely outside the realm a little bit, but I had to go with Werewolves of London.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, good
Warren
call.
Zevon. Love it.
How about that?
I made this list while I was snowblowing in my mind this morning.
Yeah, because I forgot to send him the list until today, the script, that is. So sorry about that.
No worries.
All right.
Did it snow up there, Matt?
Just a couple flakes here and there.
Hence the need for a snowblower.
Yeah.
All right, John.
So I actually did put a little effort into thinking how I wanted to choose my songs. So all of my songs actually refer to the monster, creature, animal that I'm referring to in the song. So because I did come up with a bunch that I thought were cool. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is about some dude's relationship with an evil woman. And I was like, that's just not doing it for me. And I made it a little tongue-in-cheek with my first pick. I originally wanted to go with the song Sasquatch from Tenacious D, but I changed it and went with the song Kong. And if you haven't heard that, it's probably one of their only metal songs they've actually recorded, despite being an acoustic metal band. So,
All right.
and I feel like King Kong doesn't get enough love in the metal world. So, Kong, Tenacious D.
Right on.
After we just got back from New York City on spring break with my kids and went to the Empire State Building. They've been obsessed with King Kong, and they watched the 39 version of it, and then we jumped to the 2005 version with Jack Black. Speaking of Tenacious,
Oddly enough, is in the film.
yeah.
I like the 70s version. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, they didn't see that one yet. Anyway, my number 5. Love this band, love this song, love this album. Cattle Mutilation by Rigor Mortis off the album Freaks.
Nice. All right. Jay.
Brace yourselves. You guys are going to be like, you're brilliant. No, okay, now I've overplayed it. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by Iron Maiden.
Because of the albatross?
Because it's about an albatross.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually thought about that one.
That brings it to me.
Great minds.
And my number 5 is Acid Bath, Scream of the Butterfly.
Nice.
Why are you laughing at me?
No, I'm only laughing.
Mute your mic, Will.
No. I'm not laughing at you. It's more of I didn't realize that there was a song called Scream of the Butterflies, and my kids are obsessed with butterflies. I'm like, butterflies don't scream.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want them listening to Acid Bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. I didn't realize you guys couldn't see me, but they were for probably a good 20 minutes sitting on my lap with headphones on, listening to all this. And the amount of they've never heard so many F-bombs in their life. And I thought, no, it's fine. Trust me. They listen to metal. They hear it. But I didn't realize you guys didn't notice that my kids were sitting on my lap for 20 minutes.
Nope.
Because you can't see me.
Hey, Will, I don't think that's how earmuffs work.
Yeah, those are
earphones, earmuffs. Wait, you can hear everything?
Yeah, if you say earmuffs, then you can say as much as you want there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to England for number 4.
Crippled Horses by Pig Destroyer.
Nice. Pig Destroyer.
New record
reference.
coming this year, by the way.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Other Matt?
Matt.
The Wolf is Loose, Mastodon.
Yes. Good call. I up for consideration with me.
All right, George, you can cue up the crickets for this. I went with some mythology here. Symphony X, The Eyes of Medusa.
Ooh, interesting. A lot of snakes in that one.
Yeah, and mythology.
All right.
William.
My number 4. This may be too obvious, or maybe too obvious, but the animal reference is probably more obscure or a metaphor. But War Pigs, Black Sabbath.
I thought about that one, yeah.
Enough.
Too bad it's not about pigs, but
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, they're pigs.
pigs in a
They're
trough.
pigs.
Easy.
All right, Jay.
From this is the last old school thing I'm throwing in there, but from Welcome to My Nightmare, Alice Cooper, Black Widow.
Cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
And it really is about Black Widows, by the way, very specifically about spiders.
All right, my number 4, Riot on Wings of Eagles. That just sort of popped into my head. That was probably the first thing I thought of. I was like, from their Thundersteel album, such a killer album. And yeah, I like that one a lot. So,
Nice.
all right, back to Matt.
Right, let's go. Wolverine Blues then too.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's a
that's
good
very good.
Nice.
Number 3, I've got Wolf's Blood by the Misfits.
Oh, dang, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
I think we're going to do a lot of like. I didn't think.
Yeah, well, that
Yeah,
Jay
for
predicted
sure.
that. So, all right, John.
All right, my number 3, I could basically pick any song off of this album, but I went with the opening track from Mastodon, Blood and Thunder.
I knew there was going to be a few of those.
Moby Dick.
There's one that I'm
Well,
predicting that it's probably John's number 1. But I'm not.
Well,
I obviously won't say what it is, but I have an idea.
I-
Mastodon track.
I had Blood and Thunder, but there is another one which I might try and pick before he can pick it.
and I'll-
Well, you're going to get around to me too, so watch
Yeah,
out. But
I was
that's
gonna
my
say.
number 1.
And I bet I considered it too, but I went with this one just because he actually mentions the whale in it. So
I'll
If
say
it's
my
off-
top. Go
If
ahead.
it's off remission, you might as well get it in before I can.
Damn
get
it! No, that's my number 2.
is that just north of where you are from? Is what you're referring to?
Pretty far north, but yeah. God
Yes.
damn it! Fuck! I thought I was going to be the only one who had that.
Oh, I thought of it too.
All right. Well, what's
All
your
right,
number 3?
Where are we?
Yeah, you.
Wait, you skipped me.
Oh,
My number 3.
Oh, sorry, we did just to John. Sorry.
My number 3. Again, rigor mortis from the album Freaks, 6 Feet Under, Worms of the Earth.
There you go.
You like
Great song.
rigor mortis, don't you?
I
No,
do.
he just picked up one record. It was like, I'm done.
Well,
Yeah.
one-stop shopping.
This is easy.
All right, here's I can't believe I didn't think of that one for you guys. Exodus, Piranha.
Dude, that is my number 3.
Oh my god.
Is
It
it?
is my number 3. I was all like, nobody's going to have
okay.
this.
We'll be Piranha
Oh,
buddies.
my God. You stole my
Actually,
thunder.
well, I'm
Blood
mentally
and
hugging you.
All right. Well,
And now the last 2 are going to be a fucking shit show because I think we're about to fight it out.
we'll see. I think, well, no.
What do you got, Matt?
Oh, is it me now? March of the Fire Ants by Mastodon.
Nice. That's another one I
okay,
consider.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right.
That's 2 is safe.
Number 2, The Thing That Should Not Be.
Ah,
Nice.
Cthulhu.
In
Good
Smaller.
choice. Very
Lovecraft
What's
good.
that
anyway.
about?
Yeah.
Cthulhu?
Just a big lumbering monster, so yeah, it counts.
Yeah.
All right, keeping with the whales from Gojira, which is also a mythical creature too.
Oh,
Flying whales.
That was my prediction.
that was
Good
my
call.
number 1.
Hey,
but it's not my
John,
number 1.
No, but
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
my number 2?
There you go.
Lying Whales.
you go.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So that was it. My number 2, Old Nessie, Mastodon.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Easily my favorite track on that record, too, by the way.
Oh, hands down. I'm full for me too. Yeah, I agree.
That was the one that was the sign of things to come, though the whole record is good, but
all right, my number 2, Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon.
nice.
Yeah.
Number 1, Matt.
Right, I'm gonna have to just think of one at random. Pork Farm by Brutal Truth.
I like that. You came up with that quick, dude. Nicely done.
Dude, we
That
just
was
spent
random.
all last weekend hanging out with Dan Lilliker.
Oh,
Yeah, we
yeah,
were at the
I love that band.
we were at the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest, and we spent a lot of time with Dan. He's a real nice guy.
All right.
Matt.
yeah.
Matt.
My number 1, I feel like I might be outside the circle again, and I don't give a shit, but my number 1 is Number of the Beast.
I figured
no, that's
that.
awesome,
yeah.
dude.
I figured that would be in here somewhere.
Works.
All right. I'm going with the big fella, the Lizard King. If you have that album, you know what I'm referring to. From Some Enchanted Evening. Blue Oyster Cult, Godzilla.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
That.
Come on.
Nice.
He's the king of all monsters.
Well done.
My number 1. It's already been mentioned. Blood and Thunder, Mastodon off Leviathan. I cannot stand new Mastodon, but old Mastodon is unbelievably good,
Oh, shit.
and that is my favorite. all-time favorite Mastodon song.
That you could have
Let's-
picked anything off that album and it would have been good.
Yeah.
And I did. My number one is Hearts Alive from.
Well, I wanted to do that too, Jay. But
Yeah.
I went with Blood and Thunder.
That's talking about swimming at the bottom and so on and so forth. And by the way, I love Moby Dick. It's a great book, and that record is just close to my soul.
Yes.
George, number one.
My number one, I brought a friend along to tell you about it.
And the moral of this story is this is what not to do if your bird shits on you. The reign
Yes.
of the ancient Mariner!
All right.
Wait,
Well played, sir.
I like.
So is it the
we need to do
Mariner
that
or the
more.
Bird?
The albatross.
The bird.
What not to do when your bird
And plus,
shits
it
on
ends
you.
with that
Yeah.
record ends with that song ends with that we should love all things that God made.
Yes.
I think it's about talking about the animals. So it's really about cruelty to animals.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Well, good lists. Let's do what are we listening to? Matt, is there anything you can tell us you've been listening to lately?
It's always a mixture of sort of old and new. Obviously, new stuff. Where Owls Know My Name, Rivers and Isle.
Yeah, great album.
The album that I've been just blown away by, for some reason, is Elusive Golden Age by Augury, their new one. I really, really like that. Necrophobic, Mark of the Necrogram. Cobra Speed Venom by The Crown, because I absolutely love The Crown. Again, it's just, I think, something going back to love that old death thrash. Panopticon, Skies of Man, and on the once nameless wilderness. Wild Wilderness? Yeah. But yeah, just like I've been listening to a lot of older stuff as well, like His Hero Is Gone, old like crust punk, Monument of Thieves, and I've been re-listening to all of the Black Dahlia's old stuff because I kind of
have a good conversation with him. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of fell off it a little bit, but yeah, I've been redoing all that. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to be honest at the moment, but yeah,
That's a very good list. Matt.
Still been listening to a ton of Rivers of Nile. I'm expecting a restraining order from them on that. A ton of the new Panopticon, some skeletal remains. Here's going to be my butcher of the name. I think they're Winter Phylith,
yeah,
possibly. Letrous Nocturne. I've been reading Randy Bly's book, so I've been revisiting some old Lamb of God. After listening to your last podcast, I've been spending some old Incantation and Repulsion, and also some Slugdge, as well as I've been revisiting some older stuff. I've been listening to a ton of How the West Was Won, just that older Zeppelin. Just nice to hear how heavy that band actually. I mean, they always were, but just a reminder of how heavy.
Is it because you picked up there was like just a re-release of that on vinyl, I think.
No, but I did see that, and I thought, God, I really need to get that. No, I just kind of stumbled. To be honest, after having a family, one thing I do a lot of is painting, and one thing I fucking hate to do is painting. So I have to just pick some good music and spin it. And so we were doing my daughter's room, and I'm like, you know what? We're a big Thor family, so Immigrant Song was very prevalent in the new movie, and so I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to spin some Zeppelin, and I threw all that, because I was trying to get to I was just kind of jonesing for Moby Dick, and I just started from scratch, and enjoyed it to its fullest. So,
that acoustic set on there is killer too.
Yep, that's about it.
John?
So most of my stuff is all new. Actually, it's all new. Actually, Hands of Despair, been listening to a lot. The new Barren Earth, Complex of Cages, The Skeletal Remains. Still listening to The Altars of Grief, and an album that's coming out this coming Friday, I believe, which I like a lot. I'm pretty sure George likes it. I know Jay likes it, and I don't remember hearing Will if you liked it or Matt, but King Goat, Dead of Aeons.
Yeah, very good.
No disagreement there, sir.
Will?
Willem.
What am I listening to? What have I bought? What have I purchased? So in my house, there's always Black Sabbath, Dio, and Iron Maiden vinyl spinning with my children. I bought the new. I think it was Greg Kelly, one of the listeners who likes to tag us on Twitter and introduce us to new music. He told us about Atone and their self-titled album. So I bought that, checking that out. My friends in Fohammer, local DC band, they have a new album out called Second Sight. I got the digital copy and I pre-ordered the vinyl. Listen to me. I just said pre-ordered the vinyl. Who would have thought? I've come a long way. Surprisingly enough, I always thought Skinless Savagery, I always thought they were more of like a metal deathcore band, and it doesn't seem like it as much in this new album, or maybe I just had a bad preconception of this band. But we got the promo in the box and I've been listening to that, so I'm kind of liking that. After the Decibel Fest, been listening to a lot of Monster Magnet. Thank you, Jay, for dropping those files in the box. I've been listening to a lot of that, and a couple of days ago I just blasted it all day on outdoor speakers in my new house, doing yard work, and my kids are running around with their friends in the backyard, and they just listen to Monster Magnet all day.
I wish you were my dad, dude. All the time. I was like, Will is my dad.
Yeah, seriously.
Slaves BC, my friends out of Pittsburgh, Low and I Am Burning, their new album. Been listening to that. An album that I know is going to make my year-end list, Crescent, The Order of Amity, death metal out of Egypt, and I fucking love this band. Real quick, the last couple, Eartheria, Awaken the Sun, Scientist, Barbailith.
Yeah, that's a good album.
A band I was kind of surprised that I liked for weird reasons, but Primordial, Exile Amongst the Ruins, and I like it. There's a lot of parts. I like the whole album, but it does seem like it kind of meanders a lot, and I wish I would just almost like tighten up and shorten the songs. And this is how I felt when I listened to it, and then when I read the Angry Metal Guy review, they said the exact same thing. So I think they were a little more harsh on it than they need to be, but still listening to a lot of Nusrat, their album, The Creeping Unknown, phenomenal death metal, really like it. And I just picked up the vinyl last night for Imperial Triumphant, their album,
Real triumphant
Abyssal
bastard.
Gods. Big triumphal bastard. Throbbing blue veiner right there. They're, I mentioned earlier, they're a black metal band out of Manhattan, and they played on a fucking phenomenal show last night at Atlas. And then along with them, Sick Deer got their new CD. They gave it to me last night. The CD, the new album's called The Wretched of the Earth. And then last and not least, by any stretch of imagination, is Sludge, Esoteric Malacology. Sludge.
Come on, Will.
Sorry, man, but I've been spinning that a lot. That'll definitely make my year-end list.
Cool. I'll be brief. I got into a Carcass downward spiral because of the last podcast and spent a lot of time with Carcass over the last couple of weeks. I, too, have been listening to the Rivers of Nihil. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Altars of Grief. No, was it Rivers of Now? Altars of Grief, Iris. I don't remember who pushed that on me, but I'm digging that. Then I think I'm the biggest enthusiast on this show, but the live Behemoth record really kind of does add a new, weird, edgy, kind of cool, garagey aspect to the Satanist. Totally worth your time if you haven't listened to it. Just like Will, I liked the Primordial record when it came out. Then I kind of fell out of love with it, and now it's coming back into my view. So I've been listening to that.
And you find the same thing that's just like super.
I would use the word samey. It can be real samey.
It's drony.
It's drony. But some of its moments are just like really epic. So you got to work for it, but it's worth listening to. And then the final two I'll mention, I really have, with all deference to Matt, listened to Slugdge a lot this year, but I had it in every day this week since we're getting ready for the interview. And finally, a record that I think is one of the best records to come out of this year by a long shot, the King Goat record, Dead of Eons.
Nice.
So good. I'm obsessed with that record, actually. I keep putting it on. It just, there's so many good moments in it.
All right, I will not be brief. It's it's
been a while, George.
It's been a while. We didn't get to do much in March, so I've sort of got a stockpile.
You guys can't see it. John just got up and walked out.
Screw you, John. All right. Matt, just, they give me a lot of grief on here because I tend to have a lot of things that I like, a lot of music, and so I listen to a lot of stuff. And so,
that's fair enough.
And so they always get on me about my long lists. But hey, fuck them.
But I'll also say this: we are coming to the end of the show, so you take your time. Everybody's about to be able to stand up and get some.
Exactly. So,
by the way, I did when we were up in Philly. I did buy the Sleep album on vinyl.
Wait, did you really though? Which one was it? Did you really buy one?
Yeah.
Or you just which one did you get? The sleep one, the big one.
Okay. Dragonaut and all that stuff on.
All right, my first one. We are in A. They're all alphabetical, so that'll give you a clue as to where we are. First is Altars of Grief, Iris, their second album. They're Saskatchewan black doom band. They kind of remind me of Woods of Ypres, which is why I really dig them. Next up, it's not out yet, but we got the promo for the new Amorphous Queen of Time. This is also very good. One that I picked up just today. Was it Saturday? Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, I got it yesterday. Bog Haunter. The album, it's an EP actually called Writhe. It's like a 2-song EP. It was pretty good, so I snagged it. Also, I picked up Blurring, the first album, and Cloudburner, which is the Dan Lilker project. Deep River Acolytes, The Hour of Trial. It's the first album from a Finnish doom band. The next one I got from Will, Eartheria, Awaken the Sun. It's a Finnish prog death EP. The Grotesquerie, The Lupine Anathema, fourth album of pretty much just straight up Swedish death metal. Is Galder, To the Hall of the Stars, debut EP of German black metal. Of course, the King Goat album, Debt of Aeons, second album of progressive doom. Very, very good album, and that'll be out, I think, next week. Lecherous Nocturne, Occultaclysmic, South Carolina death metal band. One that Jay neglected to mention, but he told me about, Mesa, Feast for Water. He's like, shucks.
But I muted my mic so I could cough and snort and stuff. But God damn it, yeah, that's a really good record. Female singer, but eerie female vocals done correctly. Not that there's going to be done incorrectly, but her voice really works with that band.
Are they from Italy?
Yeah, Italian doom.
Yeah,
Italian doom. Yeah. Worth your time. I think you'd dig it well.
No, I think I listened to it and I did like it. I just need more time with it.
Yeah.
We're up to M. We're still in M. Monotheist, Scourge. They're a Florida progressive death band. I'm sure Will probably likes them. Maybe.
I don't know them. I have to check it out. I think didn't you send it on Messenger at one point?
I might have. I send a lot of things you guys don't listen to.
Well, yeah, you listen to a lot of things we don't like.
Well, screw you. Next up, I've been listening to pretty much the whole catalog for Necrophagia because Killjoy passed away. And, just been checking that out. I've frequently ragged on them in the past because in the 90s I didn't really care for them, but the last few years I've gotten back into it and decided it is actually pretty cool. And so that sucks that he's no longer with us. Next up, Noose Rot, The Creeping Unknown, mentioned by Will. That's actually Adam from Skeleton Witch and Wolfhammer on vocals there. Yet another style from him. Octopus, The Supernatural Alliance. I don't know much about them. They're from Michigan, I know that, and they're like a hard rock band a la Royal Thunder. I really kind of dig that album.
Maybe a little proggier than that, but definitely more hard rock than metal. It's pretty cool stuff.
And then Order of Riven Cathedrals. How cool is that name? Order of Riven Cathedrals. And I picked up both of their albums. The first album, The Discontinuities Interlude, and their second album, Göbekli Tepe. It's actually, I think it's a place, and I actually looked it up about a month ago.
It is. It's in Turkey, isn't it?
Yeah, and I looked it up to pronounce it, and I knew it then, but I forgot to reference it today, so I'm sure the pronunciation was all off on that.
You were close.
Okay.
Not too bad.
But that's like a tech death from Italy, and it's just insane. I really like it a lot. Pestilent Rain, Pyres, first album of German death metal. It's pretty good. I picked that up on Bandcamp. This one I just started listening to today because it came out on Friday. This is the long-lost Pungent Stench album, Smut Kingdom. Was actually recorded back in like 2006, 2007. And then the band sort of split up and disagreed with each other, and so they didn't end up releasing the album. They just finally released it, and it's pretty cool. Replicant, Negative Life, New Jersey death metal band, their first album. Rune Shard, Dreaming Spire. This is the debut EP for a Hungarian symphonic black metal band. And when I heard this, I snagged it right away because it reminds me of Balsagoth, like very much so like Balsagoth. And I really wish Balsagoth would get back together because symphonic death or symphonic black metal has kind of jumped the shark in many ways. Which reminds me, I did listen to the new Dimmu album, took one for the team. And that's an example of what not to do now with symphonic black metal. However, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. In fact, I mean, it was okay.
So it was better than the last time you took one for the team, is what you're saying?
Yes, it was definitely better than the new Therian album, and like light years better than the new Machine Head album. It was tolerable. It's not something that would make a list. It's not something that I'll probably put on, but it's listenable. But Balsagoth, back in the day, they did symphonic black metal right. Only a couple more. As Will mentioned, the new Skinless album, Savagery. It's not out until next month, but it sounds cool. We got the promo. Sojourner, The Shadowed Road, epic black metal from New Zealand by way of Sweden.
Are they the guys that have the phenomenal album cover?
It's Scotland, I think. I was speaking to him the other day.
Oh, really? Was it?
Him and his girlfriend, isn't it? And I think they moved to Scotland. I think they're sure they're in Dundee.
Okay, well.
Yeah, because he added me through Slugdge. So.
All right, yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, we talked to them on Facebook recently. But
they might be moving around.
No. Well, the location I just got off the internet, so it was like it just said that like some were from New Zealand and some were from Sweden, and but it was technically listed as international. So,
hey George, is that the one with the album cover? It's got like a giant like land bridge to like a castle or something like that. Who am I thinking of? Right. Is that? Yeah. They may be up for album artwork of the year for me.
Cool.
I thought it was awesome.
All right, 3 more. Suspiria, the new album, The Lyricist. They're like a Norwegian black thrash band. I haven't really paid attention to them in a while. This is their 6th album. They got a new singer, and I really like this album. Excuse me. So I was kind of surprised by that. I haven't really listened to them in a while. Second to last album, Thy Antichrist, Wrath of the Beast. I think Jay turned me onto that one. I like that a lot.
Jay, you like it when Jay turns you on. I know.
I like it when all of you turn me on.
The whole thing. They're from Colombia, I think.
Yeah, South American.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. How come you didn't check them out?
A lot. They probably haven't been around since the last time I was there, which is like 2009.
Yeah, probably not. And finally, from Australia, Virant and their first album, Exordium. It's like a death thrash kind of mix, and kind of surprised me. I just listened to it on a whim, and I was like, hey, this is actually pretty good. So check it out.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good when I listened to it yesterday.
Excellent. All right, well, this brings us to the end of the episode. We want to thank Matt for coming on and sticking around for the whole long, gory thing.
No, thank you. It's been good.
Yeah.
You know, I think we had a really nice conversation with you. So I really, again, want to just say thanks for coming on, and it's nice to talk to somebody who I think has at least a somewhat similar worldview where metal is concerned as we do. So very cool, man. And we're looking forward to number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes.
Yeah. No worry. Take your time. But in the meantime, we'll see how many year-end lists you managed to obliterate this year with this one.
Yeah. So go up on Bandcamp and check it out and pick them up.
Spelled Slugdge, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Now say it properly, Will. And I mean, think about it before you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go J. Just sludge.
Sludge.
There you go.
I'm learning.
It's
Thank
fine.
you.
Hey, you're a teachable guy.
All right.
If we didn't have company, I wouldn't have done that. Sorry.
Yeah. And
right,
so
man.
before we go, make sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Bandcamp and SoundCloud and all those usual places. And at metalheadspodcast.com, you can find us there too. Get a hold of us if you have any questions or comments, anything at all. Just drop us a line.
Thanks.
Any last words, Matt?
No, that's it.
Perfect. That's lovely. Yeah, and Matt, thanks for joining us too, buddy. We're
Hey,
always
thanks
glad
for
to
having me,
have you
guys.
The dad of Northern Darkness. I still love that name.
Thank
I
you,
wish
Will.
I wish I would have thought of that first.
All right.
You
Last
could,
one, I'll turn off the lights.
All right. Until next time, we remain the Metalheads Podcast.
See ya.
see ya.